Welcome back to the 23 Design Patterns Simplified series. We're diving into one of the most elegant creational patterns in software design, the prototype design pattern. So, what exactly is the prototype pattern? In simple terms, instead of creating a new object from scratch every single time, you copy an existing one. Think about it. If you already have a perfectly configured object sitting in memory, why go through the expensive process of building it all over again? Just clone it. 3 things to remember here. It clones existing objects. It avoids expensive creation. And it improves performance. Remember, prototype creates objects by copying instead of building. Now you might ask, why do we even need this? Can't we just use new every time? Well, here's the problem. Creating objects from scratch can be expensive or complex, especially when initialization involves heavy processing, loading from a database, or complex configuration. Imagine spawning 500 enemy characters in a game. If each one takes 200 milliseconds to initialize from scratch, your game grinds to a halt. That's the real-world pain point. The 3 problems Prototype solves: expensive object creation, complex initialization logic, repetitive setup. We need a faster, smarter way to duplicate objects efficiently. And that's exactly what Prototype gives us. So here's the elegant idea at the heart of this pattern. Instead of building a new object from scratch, clone an existing one, and then just modify the parts you need. That's it. That's the whole concept. Copy the existing object. Modify only what's required. Save time and resources. Prototype doesn't focus on creating. It focuses on duplicating. That's a subtle but powerful shift in thinking. Let me make this concrete with a real-world scenario. Imagine you're building a system where users can create multiple documents or profiles that share a lot of similar data, like a resume builder or a game with many similar characters. Instead of rebuilding each object from the ground up, you take one base object, clone it, and customize only what's different. Prototype shines whenever many objects share similar structure. Clone once, customize many times. All right, let's get into the code. And as always, we'll do this step by step. Step 1. Define a prototype interface. This is our contract. Any class that wants to be clonable must implement this interface and provide a clone method. The key idea here: every clonable object must provide a way to duplicate itself. The caller shouldn't need to know how the cloning works internally. It just calls clone and gets a copy. Now, in Step 2, we create a concrete class that implements this interface. Notice what we're doing inside clone. We're calling MemberWiseClone, a built-in .NET method that performs a shallow copy of the current object. This is the concrete class defining how the cloning actually happens. The caller remains blissfully unaware of the mechanics. That's the beauty of encapsulation, working hand in hand with this pattern. And now, Step 3, the payoff. We create our original person, John, age 30. Then we clone it. The clone starts as an exact copy. Then we just change the name to Mike. No expensive reinitialization, no rebuilding from scratch. Just a fast, clean copy, modified exactly where needed. Cloning avoids creating objects from scratch. That's the power right there. Now here's a critical concept you absolutely must understand, and you will be asked about this in interviews. There are 2 types of copies in Prototype. Shallow copy copies the object, but for any nested reference types, it only copies the reference, not the actual object. So if the original and the clone share a nested object, changes in one can affect the other. Deep copy creates a completely independent duplicate, including all nested objects. Changes in one object have 0 impact on the other. Choose the right strategy based on your object's complexity. Here are the 5 questions you should absolutely be ready for. What problem does Prototype solve? Difference between shallow and deep copy. When should you use Prototype? Advantages of Prototype pattern. How is it different from Builder? Nail these 5 and you'll handle any Prototype question thrown at you. Let's wrap up with the key takeaway. Prototype allows you to create new objects by copying existing ones, improving performance, and reducing complexity. Use Prototype when object creation is costly or repetitive. And that's a wrap on Day 5 of the 23 Design Patterns Simplified series. If this helped you think more clearly about object creation, give it a like and share it with someone who's preparing for interviews or leveling up their design skills. Follow @FundamentallyClear on Instagram to stay with the series.